Well, I feel a little bit out of place. We just had the Oscars, which for me is typically like Christmas.
Yeah.
Has me all excited. I get giddy. I make some popcorn. I brush my teeth. All the things that I save for like once a year. Mm-hmm. And this year I just didn't care. Just didn't care.
Yeah.
I had no interest in tuning in and seeing someone in a dazzling dress say, and by default, the Oscar goes to so-and-so. Because that was it. They're the only film that fits this category. Mm-hmm. So here you go. I don't know. It's disappointing. I was looking at something. 9.8 million people watched it.
Okay.
Which sounds like a lot, but not only is it 58% down from last year.
Ooh.
It is the lowest number in Oscar history. The 93rd annual Oscars. Yeah. 93 years. And this is the worst tuning in. Yeah, nobody cared.
Jeez.
So
it
sucks a little bit.
It's unfortunate because I'm thinking specifically to us would it have been last year? I think it was last year. Yeah, it would have been, where we had our Oscars episode, and it's just film fans unite. Like, it's just fun to get into them and guess and be shocked and just have fun with it. And I don't know, I think it was just me personally, and maybe you're the same, and I think a lot of other people are the same. I just couldn't get into it, like, just with the context of the world right now. I was just like, I can't, like, I don't have the emotional focus to care right now. And
I mean, so like from a behind the scenes standpoint,
sure,
we never even discussed it. Not once. No. Like we plan our show out, I think right now. Right now, so currently we're like the end of April.
Yeah.
And I think our Movie Men Google Calendar, give or take a week or two, is like end of July, beginning of August is when we have the show planned out too.
Yeah.
And so we know exactly what every episode is going to be, with the exception obviously of votes that haven't taken place yet, but we know that that week will be whoever wins the such and such vote.
Right.
And yeah, we didn't even, because I think it was just assumed. It was just, we both understood, I have no interest in this. I'm not, if he doesn't bring it up, I'm not going to bring it up because I don't, And so neither of us brought it up, and we didn't watch it, and we didn't talk about, we're talking about it now.
Of course. Yeah.
But that feels kind of like the extent of what it deserved. Like, I don't feel like it doesn't need its own episode this year.
Yeah. Which
is weird.
It is very weird. I don't think I'm there emotionally. I'm just not.
No.
It's unfortunate because I'm sure there's maybe one or two gems that are worth our time, but just with the way it worked out, we won't know.
Yeah. So speaking of Patreon.
Yes. Wait, what?
I don't know. Speaking of Patreon, speaking of Patreon, we have a Patreon page, which you can check out below.
Click.
Helps us, run the show. It also gives you access to some cool exclusive content, as well as some contests and the occasional giveaway. And one such contest was we basically were like, hey, if you're supporting us on Patreon, tell us, just recommend a movie for us to do an episode on. We'll throw all of your names in a hat, and whoever we draw, that's what movie we'll watch and review.
Yeah, pretty simple.
That was kind of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did that. We put all your names in a hat, and we drew. And what happened?
Friend of the show, Andrew, won, and his choice of the film we reviewed was put forward and accepted, and we are reviewing said film.
Yeah, Amadeus.
The 1984 film, yes.
I have a bunch. Like I don't know if you're doing trivia. I've got a bunch of anecdotes. Yeah.
I do have trivia. I've actually been looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it because I'm hoping I can stump you. I'm hoping it's fun, but also with this specific kind of episode, because it was a specific Patreon, we know who put this film forward. It was Andrew. So I'm curious if our questions stump him or if he knew it.
Stump him.
If he knew it or didn't know it. I'm looking forward to it. So I do have some questions.
Okay. Well, fire away.
Okay. So, a few different individuals were considered for the role of Amadeus.
Sean Connery.
No, this is
Nicolas
a bit different.
Cage.
I'm going to tell you who they were. That's not the
Almost
question.
Michael Keaton, but Tim Burton wasn't going to do it.
Right.
And so Michael Keaton was out.
I'd like that, actually. No, I'm going to tell you.
Will
So
Smith. And no? Okay.
No. David Bowie.
Ooh.
Mark Hamill.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Say them slow. David Bowie. Okay.
David Bowie.
I'm trying to picture them in the wigs.
Sure.
And doing the laugh. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
So David Bowie.
Yep.
Mark Hamill.
Ooh. Okay. Hang on. 1984 Mark Hamill. Okay.
And Kenneth Branagh.
I don't know what 1984 Kenneth Branagh looks like, but
Just
I think
assume-
he's an incredible talent. So
Yeah, just assume less wrinkles, skinnier, maybe. I don't know.
yeah,
Hard to say.
he's pretty skinny.
Yeah, I don't know. So those three were considered. Well, my question for you is, they were all considered, obviously, for various different reasons and, abilities to act and all that jazz. But one of them specifically had actually played Amadeus in a Broadway production of the play. Which of those three had played Amadeus on Broadway?
Okay. So here's my process.
Okay.
I don't think Bowie has done Broadway.
Okay. Hey, maybe.
That would be my guess. I mean, prior to this, he had done acting prior to this film, sure, like Labyrinth and stuff. I know that Broadway is, like, David Bowie's also obviously had this, like, magnificent music career. And I know that Broadway is such a, like, you don't do anything else while you're doing Broadway.
Right.
Right? You don't tour as a musician. You don't star in movies. You don't build a treehouse for your kids. You do, like, Broadway is kind of all you get to do, because it's like 7 days a week, and it's yeah. And Broadway shows can last like a couple of years too. Like, Broadway is a huge commitment.
Yep.
So I don't think Bowie's done Broadway. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Mark Hamill, I also doubt that Mark Hamill's done, like, Mark Hamill, he did Star Wars, and then he did a shitload of nothing until, like, the early 90s, and then he got into voice acting. He started doing a lot of voice acting, or I think he was maybe doing, like, the odd television appearance thing, cameos in TV shows and stuff. And that was kind of like, that's kind of been him up until Star Wars started again, is my understanding. He's obviously best known for A, Luke Skywalker, and B, sort of the crowd favorite voice when it comes to the Joker. And so I doubt that he's, and I know the least about Kenneth Branagh. But he seems to me like a guy that did Broadway. He seems to me like a lover of all facets of
performing.
He's a thespian through and through. And so I'm going to go with Kenneth Branagh. I think if anyone did it, it was Kenneth Branagh on Broadway.
Okay. Well, I'm actually curious now if Kenneth Branagh ever did anything on Broadway, but it was actually Mark Hamill.
Okay.
Apparently, he was trying to further distance himself from the role he played in Star Wars, so he was trying to branch out, and that was his...
Sure.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Hamill was the second least ridiculous answer. I would have called BS if you had said it was... If you had said it was David Bowie.
Right. I mean, that's logical. You point out the time constraints of being a professional singer and doing that at the same time.
Like, you just become... Yeah, both are like full-time gigs.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just don't see how how you could successful do both.
Oh,
either one would suffer or both would suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one more question, but I've got like a tidbit that I want to say that I think is cool, and I'm curious if Andrew knew this. He might know this already. But the director for this film, Amadeus, was able to shoot scenes in the specific theater in Prague. So where the operas took place in the movie, like Don Giovanni, and there was a second one as well, he actually filmed them in the theaters where they debuted a couple hundred years earlier. And I think that's
cool.
That is incredibly cool.
That's the way to do it.
That is so cool. The last question.
Were you surprised? I was surprised kind of every time we were in a theater in this movie. I thought, wow, could we have found a bigger broom closet to like, they just seemed small to me.
Yeah.
Compared to what I would,
Sure.
like even like a Broadway theater, they seem smaller to me than most,
Sure.
And I've never been on Broadway acting or as a patron. But I've seen pictures and stuff. I've watched videos of like Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
And they all seem bigger than this tiny ass little. Well, that's fine.
The last question is actually on point for the Oscars. Something unique happened with this film. What wasn't unique, what was kind of crazy, this film was nominated for 11 Oscars and won 8 of them, which is crazy. But something cool that happened was 2 actors in the actor who played Antonio and the actor who played Mozart. They were both nominated for the lead actor Oscar.
Oh, best leading
actor.
That's crazy. To have 2 people in one film competing like that.
Yeah. When was the last time 2 actors in the same film were both nominated for the lead actor Oscar? And I'll give you 3 choices.
Prior to this or since?
Prior to this. So I'm going to say it never happened. That's one option. 1933 is another option. Or the year prior in 1983.
Oh, geez. This year it happened with Best Supporting.
Right.
I'm going to go with never happened.
Cool. It's very rare that it happened before this. In all the years and all the nominations for Best Actor, it happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I'm not being facetious. Like, it happened about 10 times or so. But when you think about, like, all the hundreds of times, like, all the hundreds of films and Oscar nominations, like, it's very rare. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I just listed 10 times, but that's incredible. Like, of all the different Oscar nominations.
That's higher than I would have thought.
It's higher than I would have thought. Nothing recognizable to me. The first was in 1933, and it did actually happen the year prior in 1983, but again, for a film called The Dresser, and I don't know what it was. None of the films were recognizable. It's happened for some other films, mainly like Godfather, Godfather 2, Gone with the Wind, but for other Oscars like Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, so not for the main lead actor. But regardless, my point is very interesting that both these main characters in this film were nominated for an Oscar for the best lead actor, and one of them did get it.
I definitely didn't know that. Like that's a piece of Oscar trivia to me for sure.
Yeah. Do you know which one got the Oscar in this film?
Okay, so one of them did win it.
Yes.
It's so hard. I feel like Salieri's performances is... I'm going to go with him, just because if you had said to me, guess who got nominated for an Oscar in this movie, I would have guessed him. So him.
So like the guy who played Antonio or the guy who played Mozart?
No, the guy that plays, Antonio Salieri.
Right. He did win it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
You know, I'm leaning towards what you're saying. I think so. I think between the two, but we might get into that. Regardless.
Cool.
I'm curious what your anecdotes are, unless you want to just jump right into it, and they'll come naturally.
Well, I think we can. I'll tell you. I feel like they'll come naturally right now.
Sure.
I feel like they fit here. So I'll just go for it.
Do it.
So this is I'll tell you the experience I had.
Sure.
I was like, okay, yeah, Amadeus. Let's when we found out that that's what we were doing, I was like, yeah, okay, Amadeus, let's do this. And then these last 2 weeks have been like weeks from hell as far as my school workload goes. Like right. I've been so swamped, it's ridiculous.
Sure.
And it's still not over. Like I'll finish this and then I'll be up till probably about 4 a.m. I've sort of consistently been up till about 4 a.m. working on school for the last 4 days.
That's
I think. I'm averaging about 5 hours of sleep a night. A lot of caffeine. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I could use a quick break. We'll watch this movie.
Yeah.
And then out of the corner of my eye, I cut the run time, and I was like, 3 hours. What?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a 3 hour. So then I was a little bit turned off, and then I was like, okay, well,
sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. I don't know if I'm as excited as I was, but that's fine. And so I just thought to myself, okay, well, you know what? I can't take a 3 hour chunk off this evening. So I'm going to have to do what I never do, and I'm going to have to watch half now and half tomorrow.
No way.
And I'm like, but what if it's awful? Like, what if this movie's terrible?
Right.
Because then I'm really going to struggle to like make the time to start the second half of this movie.
Sure.
Like so I was like, yeah, so I was stressing that. I also, when I was in like grade 3 or grade 4 or 5 or something, like those early, like, you know, public school days, we did this whole, in music class, we did this whole unit on composers, right? So we did like Bach and Beethoven and Mozart and stuff like that. Those are sort of the main 3 that I remember. I'm sure there were others.
Sure.
But yeah, like sort of that era, like over the course of like 150 years, who these composers were. And at the time they showed us a movie. They showed us a movie like Amadeus. And I couldn't remember who it was about. I couldn't remember what one it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't about Beethoven, although I would love to see a really great biopic about Beethoven and him going deaf and like sawing the legs off his piano, and like that would be really cool to me. And I'm because it would be so cool, that's why I'm pretty sure I haven't seen one. But I was wondering, I'm like, could it be, is it Amadeus? Is this the movie they showed us when I was a kid in school? And so I sat down to watch it with sort of that query in mind. And then like 2 minutes in, when he's like slit his own throat and there's like the bare asses of strange men, I was like, okay, I don't think this was it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it wasn't. So then I did a quick Google search, and I'm pretty sure it was like, My Name is Bach or something. Like, I think
cool.
there's a different, so anyways. So then we sat down to watch it and didn't shut it, like watch the full thing, just sat and watched it.
I was like in one sitting.
In one sitting, because I was like, I just couldn't, it didn't feel like a 3-hour movie.
No.
I was like, this is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And just kept watching and kept watching and kept watching.
Yep.
So before we press on, all I'm going to say,
sure,
I thoroughly enjoy this movie.
Sure.
It's good. I do have some criticisms.
Okay.
And I think they're fairly serious criticisms.
Oh.
They're not movie ruining criticisms, but they're definitely score affecting criticisms.
Okay.
So what about you? Tell me, like, what's sort of your initial going into it, what'd you think of it, stuff like that.
Can I tell you a story anecdotally going into this?
No, one per podcast. No. No, speak up sooner next time, you jerk.
I listen to like a lot of retro music, like specifically 80s music. I just get a hoot out of it.
I was going to say, I don't think Mozart is considered retro. I think it's a little bit older than that, but yeah, okay.
Tonight on the Classic Rewind, we're going to be listening to some Mozart.
We're going all the way back with Groovy Gary tonight on the, yeah.
Taking you back to prom.
Yeah.
No, so I listen to a lot of 80s music, and there is this song from the 80s that I've heard so many times, and it's called, I Googled it here, it's called Rock Me Amadeus.
Yep.
And I don't even know who, I can't even tell, let this Google search who sang it. It's not really important to the story, but I had always just seen this song from the 80s, and I'm like, oh, it's obviously from the motion picture Amadeus, which is also from the 80s, just because in my head I'm like, what are the odds that it's two separate things? And when I looked, like when I started the film, I looked and it was from 1984. The film is from 1984. The song is from 1985, so they have nothing to do with each other. And the long and the short of it is, I honestly thought this was going to be a musical. I honestly thought like it was going to be a musical where like there'd be some like, some story, some anecdotal stuff between characters, and then like someone would pop out of a closet and there'd be like a musical number, and it would just be like, I don't know, like a mixture of Mamma Mia and like Jesus Christ Superstar or something. Like I wasn't sure what to expect, and I'm not disappointed, but I was just a little thrown off that the song has nothing to do with the movie.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, cool. Just generally in a nutshell, I also really enjoyed it. I have a lot of interesting takes.
A young Jeffrey Jones playing the Emperor? Is that what he was? A king? Yeah. So Jeffrey Jones, of course, being...
What should I recognize him from?
He's the principal from Ferris Bueller. He plays Winona Ryder's dad in Beetlejuice.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah. And his famous line through and through this movie is, like, that's how he responds to everything, and it's so brilliant. He's just, he's just taking everything in. Everyone will be talking, and someone will say something or give their opinion, and he just looks at them and, like, yeah, it was so good. It was such a great, I don't know if that was like a choice he made or if it was in the script. So really fun movie. I'm a sucker for biopics.
Sure.
I love biopics. Fun way of telling the story that it's Antonio talking back through his life and through knowing Mozart. Yeah. yeah, they breeze through his childhood. They kind of talk about his childhood and some flashbacks. But then they do carry it through right up until his death when he's 35. And so that was kind of cool. I going into it, I wondered if we were going to get to see that. So that's all neat. There's a couple of spots where I feel like the film does me wrong.
Oh.
You know, it's three things, really. So the first one is pretty minor, but I would have liked to have seen some further, aside from Mozart's wife, sort of towards the end when she sees Salieri in the house, and obviously then is there's all this tension from when she was ready to sleep with him to further Amadeus's career, which is it's this that was such an interesting scene to me when she's first initially willing to do it, because she's if you watch that scene with sort of an approach to the way things are culturally now, you would think to yourself, what an awful wife. She's just so quick to jump in the sheets with this other guy, and she doesn't even seem that upset about it. She's very seductive. She's very she's just ready to do this. But then if you look at it through the lens of when it is, and sort of what a wife's place in society would have been at the time, culturally, it would have been simply to serve her husband as head of the household, as the man.
Right.
And so when you look at it through that lens, you realize what a dedicated, what a commentary on how dedicated she is, but also the horribleness of the times.
Right.
That in order to best serve your husband, you will do this, and you will let it eat at you, and you will let it take you to the grave, or you'll take it to the grave with you. But so, anyways, the thing that bothered me was not that scene at all. I thought that was a brilliant scene. What bothered me was the fact that we don't that there's never any backlash from that.
Right.
Amadeus never finds out. Wolfie never finds out. And I think that would have been some interesting tension, and just sort of an interesting thing to explore. Thing number two.
Before actually, I kind of agree, because even the tension in that scene where he rings the bell and then
throws her out. Oh yeah,
and throws her out, and it's just kind of this. Wow, look at this woman who's thrown herself at me. I thought there would have just been even more backlash of the unfortunateness of the times where, everyone would have believed the male in this situation, and she would have been ostracized and even punished.
Yeah.
The unfortunate as the times are, I really thought that's where this would go, and it would kind of build more tension with that. And it would have been
cool. It would have been cool to unpack that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, when he throws her out, immediately I thought to myself, you piece of shit.
Right?
This is clearly exactly what you wanted. Mm-hmm. Right? This is what you were hinting at. And, but he was all talk. Because wasn't a plot point that, I'm pretty sure at this point he's a virgin.
Yeah, he kind of alludes to that.
In order to, as soon as he thinks that God has given him this gift, has afforded him this opportunity, he talks about how, he did all the things the way that he was supposed to do. He steered clear of messing around with women.
Right. Right.
And he hasn't been married. And so I think that would have been prom night for him had he gone through with this. And so anyways, thing number two, there is some of the the operas and the vaudeville stuff and the whatever that we see is a lot of fun. There's a spot in like the beginning of the third act of this film or the end of the second act where we just get like 20 solid minutes of it. And it just drags a little bit. It kind of, the film quickly loses momentum for me for a quick bit. Right. And then we get it back, like it gets back again, but it was this kind of like, oh, okay, well, this is, okay, we get it. Like, they're writing them back and forth and they're kind of having this own little battle. But I feel like you don't need to show us as much of it. Right? It kind of felt like the Live Aid recreation at the end of Bohemian Rhapsody. It was like, it's like the whole damn thing. This is like, this is a lot. Finally, and
Sorry,
this is my...
I just want to tap onto that too, because I think I can relate to that, and I think I want to speak for, because I think Andrew, when he kind of reached out to us, he is like a classical music fan, and so I think probably where this film probably gets into a bit of problems is it wants to run through the greatest hits of Mozart and how that reflects in his life in this kind of fictional biopic. So I totally get how they kind of have to, or not even have to, but why they're using each piece and the depth that they're going into. But I think I can relate to, because there were some pieces that I was familiar with that I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun to see it in this context. And then there were some pieces I was less familiar with where I was going, okay, yeah, like maybe if the movie was 100% in length that it is right now, I maybe could have done with maybe like down to 90%, just shaved a little bit off, kind of
trim the fat.
Yeah, trim the fat, kind of move things along a bit faster. So I think maybe that just speaks for you and I, where maybe, there's songs and pieces that we're familiar with, that we're into, but it's not every single one that we were like, ooh, yeah, like let's get into it. So I think it could have moved along a bit faster, but
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Final thing. And this one's pretty egregious.
Oh. Okay.
If their intent in this film was to go through the greatest hits of Mozart, I think they did a piss poor job.
Okay.
There were so many songs, like the top 5 songs that I think of when someone says Mozart. The iconic Mozart songs. Songs that you may not even know are Mozart.
Right.
Don't really make an appearance. In fact, the most iconic Mozart song that is played at the beginning by Antonio when he plays it for the priest and says, I didn't write that. That was Mozart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And aside from that, there are so many great songs missing. Sure. We don't get... He talks about... We see him writing and beginning the process for The Wedding of Figaro.
Right.
But the most iconic songs from that opera, we don't see. They never play them for us. And so there was so many songs. And you know what? Like, I understand that maybe there's a fear of cheapening the film by just playing all this stuff that everyone, like playing all the greatest hits.
Sure.
However, you wouldn't make Walk the Line and not have Ring of Fire.
Right.
Show up at some point. You wouldn't do an Elvis biopic and not have Blue Suede Shoes at some point in the film.
Sure.
You wouldn't do a Nickelback, well, okay, you just wouldn't do a Nickelback biopic, but
amen.
But if you did, there'd be songs that
all
you would just play.
Yeah, and they'd all sound the same.
You wouldn't do it. Yeah. You wouldn't do a Green Day thing and never mention the fact that they wrote the song "American Idiot," right? Like, it's just. So to me, I think it would have been. It would have elevated the film for me quite a bit had I gotten more of those iconic Mozart pieces. on the flip side, I got I got exposed to a bunch of Mozart music that I'd never ever heard before, so that was cool.
Yep.
But I also was always waiting for something I recognized, and there was very little of that. And I don't think, because I listen to not like a lot of classical music, but I would say I'm fairly well versed in a lot of classical music.
Sure.
So I don't think me not recognizing a lot of the songs was a commentary on me being, classically ignorant. I think they picked some very lesser known Mozart music to showcase throughout the movie. And and I enjoyed the exposure to some new stuff. Yep. I just think maybe there could have been a healthier balance.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Especially because he plays that song in the beginning on the piano for him, and he's like, oh, I didn't write that. So how cool would it have been? It's cool the way the movie ends with him dying and all this stuff. But how cool would it have been if the whole film was building up to the moment that he writes that? Or if there is a big scene where we get to see the song again, but with Mozart directing it,
Right.
So conducting it.
Kind of a closing by return kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I mean that is my biggest issue with this film, is that this film is essentially, this is an AC/DC movie where we never hear Back in Black.
Right.
And that's weird.
Right.
And just loses a little bit of energy, of fun energy that it could have if it had leaned a little heavier into the music that we all know.
Yeah, I wonder if they were just shy from getting into those the really biggest, greatest hits. And I do think you're maybe onto something that maybe for the fans like you and me or others as well, maybe they just kind of missed out on an opportunity.
I think so.
Yeah. I hear you.
So.
Cool. I don't think I have as many, I know you don't have beefs with the film as far as you enjoyed it. I think I just generally was more taken back by the film because I too was kind of looking at the screen time.
Yeah, a 3-hour movie is fine. A long movie is fine, but you need to earn that. You need to need that amount of time. Don't give me a 4-hour Cats movie. Give me
right.
Give me a 4-hour Lord of the Rings movie, right?
Preach.
Keep me going with it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it did definitely earned, it earned my attention. And I think, like I said before, maybe if what we saw was 100%, maybe if it had been trimmed down a little bit to 90% of length, there were some spots that I think it could have moved a bit faster. And I think the version I watched, I'm not sure if that's the only version out, but it said director's cut. So maybe I would have just been fine with a theatrical version. Maybe that would have been fine.
Yeah, I also saw the director's cut, but I also don't know because the director's cut was the length of, if I just Google Amadeus runtime, the thing that comes up is the runtime.
Oh,
it doesn't say director's cut, but it's the same runtime.
Sure.
And so, I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe it's just the theatrical cut and then director's cut. Maybe they never released the theatrical cut on home video. I have no idea.
Who knows? But yeah, I ultimately really enjoyed it. I loved just the type of narrative they decided to have, that it was told through one individual who happened to be jealous and upset, but it was told through one individual's eyes. And it was just a film that it really kind of made me think throughout the film and then afterwards, just because throughout the whole film, Mozart has this really annoying laugh. And when you think about it, it's okay, but wait, this is told through Antonio's memory and perspective. So maybe in this room at that dinner party, maybe his laugh wasn't that obnoxious. It was just Antonio's perception of him. So all these kind of interesting layers that you kind of get from the narrative they decided to have, I really enjoyed, and it really helped add to my enjoyment. And the ending was really cool. There was something about just Mozart's laughter in the end credits and Antonio still being like so just disdained and upset about his lot in life being mediocre and getting wheeled through the hospital. There was something about it. And then also just literally on his deathbed, Mozart like asking for like a bit of a prepayment on his work just because he's broke, and literally just gets dumped in a mass grave because he's dirt poor. Like all these kind of things just kind of, you know, it is a movie that's, gosh, over 35 years old now, but yeah, there could be improvements definitely, but for the time and the era that it was made in, I think it was really done well, and for me it came together well.
So can you shed some light on the ending for me? Because
sure. I might not know it.
Sorry?
I might be as in the dark as you are, but I will try.
Okay, it felt very abrupt, the ending.
Okay.
And I didn't understand. I assumed it was going to end with Antonio dying, because I thought that's what was happening the whole time.
Sure. Yeah.
That he's kind of on his deathbed telling this story.
Well, and because the priest does come, and honestly, throughout this whole story, the priest isn't like, "Hey, man, like my shift ended 2 hours ago." Like he stays there all night.
Yeah. But then he gets like wheeled through this not just hospital. It's like it's an insane asylum.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Bedlam, and there's people chained to the wall and lying naked in a cage on the floor, and I just didn't understand. And then he's saying something to them, and I can't remember what he's saying, but he's like,
I think he said, like, "I absolve you."
Yes, I absolve you. And I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? And so the ending didn't make a lot of sense to me, which was really disappointing, because I enjoyed everything up until literally like the last 45 seconds. And then I was like, this is abrupt and I don't get what they're trying to tell me.
I think you make an interesting point that is probably a little accurate, that it is quite abrupt. Like what happens to kind of wrap up the film isn't of any significance. Like it's not like you said, hey, it's building up to his story leading up to then us panning to Mozart playing that song that he just said, hey, I played it on the piano and I didn't write this, Mozart did. Like there wasn't anything significant. It was literally some healthcare worker at this healthcare facility that mistreats people. He was coming in and said, like, excuse me, sir, it's time for your, I forget what he said. Like it was like meal time or bath time or something. So it was literally just something incidental that it was like time to leave. And I think it was just to emphasize the point more that Antonio felt like he was just mediocre, that God was punishing him by being mediocre, and he killed Mozart, and it rubbed him in his face, and he was just really, he being Antonio was just really leaning into that in his remaining life, that he had hung on to that bitter pill for the last 30 years, and he's living that label that he's given himself. I think that's all. I think that's the significance of the ending. What brought it about was kind of random.
Alternate theory.
Okay, I'm here. I'm listening. I like those things.
They had a big, lengthy, like, rich ending planned.
Okay.
And then the director was like, good Lord, we're at 3 hours. Okay, let's I don't know, Mozart dies and I don't know.
Maybe
roll the credits.
Maybe all the songs that we wanted, or mainly you kind of made the point of, like, that were missed in this film, maybe they were all going to be in the finale, and then, like he said, he ran out of time, and it's like, crap, well, no one will notice that.
Can you imagine? Like, I would have been okay with that too, even right at the end. If you'd given me like a 3-minute montage thrown together of Mozart conducting his biggest hits. Right? Kind of looking back on his life.
And it could be like literally like a epiphany or like a vision that Antonio's having just for like one more rubbing it in his face that he wasn't Mozart, and just kind of have it kind of riding into the hallway or the sunset or whatever you'd call it.
Because he does, like, as much as he hates the guy,
yeah,
he has a world of admiration for him.
Well,
like,
and that's
he
the thing.
does
Like every
over and
concert,
over.
Yeah,
Exactly. Every
Like,
concert.
every
he was
concert.
like, the guy was like, I don't know, was it terrible? And he goes, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes. It was awe-inspiring. It was impossibly good.
Yeah. He never never shied away. Like, he was blatantly honest about how amazing it was, but just his distaste for the person.
Yeah, he didn't hate Mozart because Mozart was unfairly being given opportunities that Antonio wasn't. Antonio hated Mozart because Mozart was just better than him.
Yeah.
He was just better. So, like, the moment when Mozart's wife does show up and she's got that sort of folder of originals.
Right. Yeah.
And the moment when, like, at first he's like, these are originals. These are originals? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out exactly why he was saying that. I had a hunch that it was like his plan to destroy them.
Yeah, that's his plan. What I was. Yeah.
To be like, you've just brought me copies of something that there is no other copy of. Like, if I destroy these are gone. But no, it was the fact that there was no editing. There was no corrections made. There was no notes. There was no. He just sat down and wrote this, and it's again too good. It's not just that it's good. It's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Real quick, I did find. Did you find Antonio relatable at all, just as a human being? Because I feel like we all can a little bit, and I think that's why he won an Oscar and why he brought it to life, because like he brings jealousy and just even being too hard on ourselves. Like, we can all be super critical. Like, when you just evaluate, like, just take a step back. We're like, only one person was Mozart. You were still like an accomplished human being, and you were just so focused on how much better Mozart was that you forgot that I think there's just some elements of the humanity that Antonio and the actor that portrayed Antonio, he brought out, that I think we can all kind of relate to some degree. I mean, he definitely crossed the line, and then at that point, I think it becomes less of an intellectual study of like, oh yeah, I can relate to this, and going, okay, yeah, he's definitely in the wrong. He should not be doing what he's doing. He needs to chill out. But I thought there was just something interesting with that.
I mean, I've always been jealous of Mozart, so that's. So yeah, I mean, it was a hard role to watch, because I was like, my God, that's me. And but it was also a journey of growth for me, I think. So.
I'm glad. If you don't grow, you have to grow. You just have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
I'm just going to quickly wrap up by saying a few themes that Andrew brought up that, a great movie. And when I bring up these things, I think it reflects both how interesting of a movie it is, and just like, it's interesting that Andrew kind of picked this out from the movie. So, there's some themes of it's a hard word to say, unfathomable genius.
There you go.
Rivalry, betrayed faith, which we didn't really hit on directly, but just Antonio like dedicating his life to God, and then him perceiving that like God was mocking him, and just all that kind of back and forthness that went on, and the crazy things he did with that mindset. The classical music we hit on was good. Could have maybe been better, but it was still good. And it was. I do have to admit, just the historical fiction component was very cool. Just there's obviously a lot of liberties that they took, and it was a fictional story, but it was still kind of cool based on some truths to my brief Wikipedia reading. So, yeah, very, very interesting view.
Okay. 0 to 10, sir.
All right.
What do you think? What do you think of Amadeus?
So I'll say this. I will probably never watch it again. Or if I do, I would need a few years to kind of let it breathe, because it's not the type of film that I would just kind of finish watching it and just like hit start over again, like say Titanic or The Great Gatsby or something like that. It's not in that higher echelon for me. But it was still a very good film. So I gave it an 8.3 out of 10. So if I had seen this in theaters, I would have been more than content paying the money to do so. And
cool.
On Marshall's scale, I gave it very close. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So regardless, 8.3, pretty respectable score.
And what is Marshall's scale?
Yes. Marshall's scale is a more, like, I guess you'd say, it's a more objective, reasonable scale that's out of 10 versus a bit more of a hodgepodgey one that I use that really only makes sense to me. So it's kind of like a balancing act.
So Marshall is sort of a regular fixture
you could
on
say
our
that.
show now.
You could say that.
Yeah, and he has a scale that's a little more, I would say, in line with most people's scale.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. What would you give it out of 10?
I give it an 8.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And the only reason I don't give it like a 9.5 is because of the fact that I feel like the opening 3 minutes of Mrs. Doubtfire do a better job of showcasing classical Mozart music than a movie about Mozart's classical music.
Right. Okay.
Which is a shame.
I mean,
but I do, in some ways, I do genuinely feel that way.
I mean, okay, I get your critique, but that is also pretty harsh.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Yeah, and I mean, I'm probably not going to watch it again anytime soon.
Sure.
I feel like I would need someone to show it to.
Yeah,
I would need
for sure.
to.
Yep.
It would need to be movie night, and I would need to be like, hey, you know what? These people would like this movie. This is up their alley. You know. But yeah, I'm probably not going to sit down and just watch it again myself, at least anytime soon.
Right.
So
no, that's fair.
Speaking of Andrew, you know, the guy that recommended Amadeus to us.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part of the show where normally I would say, hey, Pete, what'd you watch this week? But I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hand things over to our friend, Andrew.
Hi guys, my name is Andrew. I'm in Jakarta, Indonesia. For Amadeus, I would rate it as 9 out of 10. Yes, I love this film. It is one of my absolute favorite films of all time. And this week I watched The Father. I have a granddad who has dementia, so it gives an interesting insight to what he's been experiencing. Otherwise, he's healthy, so everything is alright. What have you been watching?
Okay, yeah, so Andrew likes this movie. That's which is good, because you know what? If Andrew had said, like, I give this film a 2 out of 10, right, then I would have said, what the hell, Andrew? Then why? Then why recommend that to us? But no, that's fair. Yeah. I haven't seen any new. I was gonna say I haven't seen Father, but I haven't seen. It's been a long time since I've seen a new Robert De Niro movie. So maybe I should get on that.
Robert De Niro.
Isn't he in Father?
No, Anthony Hopkins.
Why am I saying Robert De Niro? I was picturing Anthony Hopkins.
There are
starchy old guy.
I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say, yeah, they're like they're in the same generation. It's easy to
it was crossed wires. I was picturing Anthony Hopkins and said Robert De Niro.
Of course.
The same goes for both. Well, no, I mean, with the exception of like the Thor movies.
Right, but like that's like you know what I mean? Like it's a kind of a side role, like a
yeah. So answer the man's question.
Okay, I watched. Let me think. I feel like I watched one film that was from think 1990s. I kind of went on the train of watching an old Disney Plus movie that had like nostalgic factor, and I watched The Rescuers Down Under. And
Ooh.
yeah, it was. I think some people might relate to this. When I watched it on Disney Plus, there were a couple key scenes that I raised an eyebrow and I went, "Wow, this was not on the version that I watched as a kid." Because I think I must have had a version that was like VHS off TV, so it was just like a home copy, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
So there were
they'd shortened it down to make room for commercials and stuff.
Exactly. So there were a couple scenes where I'm like, wow, I don't remember this at all. And that obviously must be the answer. Anyway, it was a fun walk down memory lane. Everyone has, when they use Disney Plus, there's all these movies and shows from yesteryear that you get a kick out of. So I'm not sure if it was the nostalgia solely or just that it's a solid film, but it was a solid view. I honestly, I'm going to get into specifics. I gave it a 7 out of 10, so that's kind of fun. I think to watch a cartoon like that, to get a score, there's some nostalgia involved, but I think it was solid enough.
My favorite thing about watching old stuff on Disney Plus is like especially stuff that I haven't seen, like, I don't know, since the last time I saw it would have been on VHS. I love sitting down watching it and being like, holy resolution. Like, right. I've like, it's been a while since I saw Dumbo, but I've never seen Dumbo this crisp. Good God. Yeah. So that's, for me, that's one of the fun parts about Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. I watched another 3-hour film, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. I watched a war drama called A Hidden Life. It's from 2019. It's about someone who was like a conscientious objector in Austria during World War II. It's one of those films that it's definitely more serious. It's like a very somber tone, but it was very interesting, very worth watching. It's one of those things that if you're into that kind of historical film, then check out the trailer. You might like it. I probably would never watch it again.
Is Andrew Garfield in this one as well?
No, he is not.
No, different conscientious. Good Lord. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. But it was another 8 out of 10. I'm getting into specifics here, but yeah, it was a long film, worth watching if you're into that kind of more serious tone of a film.
Cool.
The last thing I watched is something everyone and their dog. Actually, I'm not going to say that because some people probably don't like it, but a lot of our Patreon supporters like it. They've brought it up before when we've done vote suggestions for various years, and
I'm so curious.
I assure you, it is coming. It will come. Its day is not on the calendar yet, but it is to come.
What is it?
I watched the first Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And speaking of resolution,
is it coming? Are we going to do it?
We will do it. I'm having one doozy of a time scoring it after I watched it, like, just recently.
This Christmas, man.
Christmas 2024. Yeah. It's hard to just score it just without getting having nostalgia get in the way. Speaking of resolution, and then I'll pass the baton back to you. I unfortunately had to watch it in 2 spouts. I mean, the extended version is 3 hours, so sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But I watched the first half in like a high, like HD 4K. And then just with the second half where we were watching it, it was during the day, so we had to watch it like in a different room that was darker. So we ended up just watching it on plain old DVD. And just the thing with technology, I'll tell you, I'll be the old man in the room. When you watch a new technology, you always like scoff at it and you go, oh, 4K, this isn't that, but I'm paying extra money for this 4K. Give me the 3K and I'll be just as happy. And then you go back a step, or in this case, a couple steps to DVD, and you go, oh yeah, there it is. There it is. I was wrong. 4K is the step up. I was wrong.
Especially on the size of the screens that we're using now. It's a lot more
that's the
evident.
Thing. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, those are the films I watched.
I think you made yourself the old man in the room by saying the words 3K.
Right.
Not a thing, but
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So what did you watch this week?
Nothing. Like I said, it's been like 4 a.m. mornings and
that is
or
respectable.
4 a.m. nights, I guess. Anyways, the next time you ask me that question,
yeah.
though, not only will
Mornings,
I have an
I guess.
answer for you.
Yeah.
Not only will I have an answer for you, I'm pretty sure I will have an answer for you that will fill the void of recommendation that you need to watch next.
All
So
right.
it's a movie that I'm not only excited to watch, I'm anticipating thoroughly enjoying.
Huh.
So and
Now you've-
needing to recommend after.
Now you've whet my appetite, so I look forward to
Yeah,
that.
well, as should be wetted. Wettened? Yeah. Anyways, wrap this up.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you again to all our Patreon supporters for supporting us. Thank you again to Andrew, who won this contest, and thank you for suggesting this movie. It was a lot of fun to watch and review. Speaking of contests, we have an existing Patreon contest going where you either
Good
have
Lord.
to you either have to just be a Patreon member or join our Patreon, or alternatively, if you send us a voice clip like Andrew did of what you watched that week and who you are, where you're from, and ask us what we watch, you can be entered into this contest. And the contest is giving away 3 $10 gift cards. They're iTunes gift cards, but we're very flexible. So if you win and we say, hey, you've won, and you say, I hate iTunes, I would rather have a McDonald's gift card, I'd rather have a Google Play gift card. We are so flexible. Do not let the iTunes component be a hiccup for you. Regardless, we are giving away three gift cards, and probably at some point in early to mid-May we'll do the draw. So we'll give some time for people to kind of join if they haven't done so already, or enter if they haven't done so already. But
Yeah, exactly.
regardless, normal housekeeping. Please like, follow, subscribe on all the links below. Rate and review us. Rate and review us positively wherever you're listening to this podcast. And yeah, we really appreciate hearing any feedback. So if you have any comments, we love hearing from you. And when we took a week off, I feel like I've forgotten. Is that all the housekeeping we have to do? I think that's it.
I don't know. I don't know, but we should never take a week off again, I guess. That's what that tells me.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.